My name is Duddits, I do builds and stuff. I've got the most disgusting hunter build you have ever seen. Forget about prismatic, forget about void, strand all the way. This build absolutely wrecks GMs. We're going to be focusing on the trace rifle, the Unsworn. And I'm going to show you how to get a very easy 96% damage increase via the Fur Tracer, which gives you 25% damage increase. And we're going to pair it up with Harsh Refraction, that also gives you a 50% damage increase. It all equates to be a 96% damage increase when we hit something with a Strand ability. We're featuring Whirling Maelstrom a lot. This is a beautiful little Maelstrom, little whirling boy. It just absolutely shreds, and this will infinitely proc your Fur Tracer amongst other abilities as well, like Ensnaring Slam. But when you've got everything going on, this build absolutely wrecks. Destroys mages, miners and champions, and you've got loads of survivability which we'll go into as well, so stay with me, I'll break it all down. So we'll start off with the Unsworn adaptive frame. This is a Strand trace rifle from the Sundered Doctrine dungeon. The first perk on there is Shoot to Loot. I've got a couple of options: shooting an orb of power, picks it up; shooting an ammo break, picks it up. It automatically reloads all of your weapons from reserves. It increases the range. And then the perk I really like on this one is Detonator Beam. Dealing sustained damage, creates an explosion around the target. It triggers faster the enhanced version, but Shoot to Loot and Detonator Beam work perfectly together. We'll go into that as well. The Detonator Beam will proc your Shoot to Loot, and it's also got the perk on there, Subjugation. To weak targets, shots explode, and then to strong targets, they become exhausted. Now, just look at the number here. I'm going to break the numbers down for you. So if we just look at this very first number, this is nothing going on, 1231. And now what I'm going to do is add in Harsh Refraction. Trace rifles do more damage to targets afflicted by elemental debuffs matching their element type. So we're on Strand. The Strand debuffs are Sever, which you could do with your Threaded Spike. We've also got the Grapple Grenade, which suspends. So we've got Suspend and Sever. And we've also got two aspects which will also proc this Harsh Refraction. The first one being an Ensnaring Slam. You dive to the ground, this suspends. So you've got your melee, your grapple, and your aspect suspends. That also procs your Harsh Refraction because it suspends, and you've got your Whirling Maelstrom. This, whenever you pick up a tangle, you throw it, it's going to unravel targets and do loads of damage. So these all proc your Harsh Refraction. Every single thing you've seen, your melee, your grapple grenade, and your two aspects. 1231. Just for this one, I'll throw in my melee, and you're going to see that damage ramp up to 1940. Now that is a 57% damage increase. That is the Harsh Refraction, and we've also got something else in there as well, increasing it by about 5 or 6%. Obviously the Harsh Refraction is 50%, but the boosted version of this perk also gives you an additional 5%, the Unraveling Orbs. It says boost there, Strand weapons deal increased damage to Strand debuff targets. You get an extra 5%, so your 57% damage increase. Add in the Fur Tracer, damaging a powerful combatant or a guardian with an ability temporarily increases the weapon damage of the same type. So obviously the trace rifle is Strand, so we hit something with a Strand ability. Now all them things I showed you, your Ensnaring Slam, your Maelstrom, your melee, your grapple, these also proc Fur Tracer. So you actually proc Fur Tracer 25%, and you actually proc in the Harsh Refraction. So look at the state of this. The numbers are going to show up even further. 2425, and it's so easy to do. You've literally got four things that will constantly apply that debuff, and look at the damage. It's absolutely massive. 2425 all the way from 1231. 97% damage increase on a trace rifle is absolute insanity. Now, just to sort of clarify, everything you've seen that I showed you in the previous clip, your Whirling Maelstrom, that unravels. You've also got your Ensnaring Slam, that suspends. And you've also got your Shackle Grenade suspends, and your melee, that severs. All of them proc Harsh Refraction and Fur Tracer. Now, Whirling Maelstrom is an absolute monster for this build, just on its own, because it does damage anyway, unraveling targets, and it's giving you a constant supply of that Fur Tracer and the Harsh Refraction all of the time. All you have to do is make sure you hit a tanky target with that Whirling Maelstrom, and that gives you an infinite 96% damage increase just with the Whirling Maelstrom alone. Now, it does so much damage anyway, that Whirling Maelstrom, especially with it being Strand burn on quite a lot of the GMs and end-game activities this season. It's just absolutely fantastic aspect, very underrated, and it's well worth running it over Prismatic. Now, there's subjugation. What this does is it explodes against little targets, and then it also exhausts sort of tankier targets. We've also got overload trace rifles, which also exhaust. Now, this is quite important because not only do you get loads of damage with your trace rifle via the elemental supercharger, defeating exhausted targets with weapons that match your super, i.e. Strand, you're going to get an absolute crap ton of super energy. And I wasn't really trying. Like, I could have got my super a lot quicker if I'd run around collected all the orbs or whatever. But, like, just after, like, a minute and a half in this GM, I had a super straight away. I probably could have got it in a minute or 30 seconds if I really tried. But you just got infinite amounts of super, infinite amounts of damage. Look at that whirling maelstrom. Throw that, you've got your four tracer procced, you've got your unraveling rounds going as well, which we'll go into. Harsh refraction procced, and things just absolutely get disintegrated. Really, really strong. Now, detonator beam, dealing sustained damage, creates an explosion around the targets, and shoot to loot. Now, these work together, which is why I really love this trace rifle. So what I'm going to do is create a couple of orbs via an attrition orbs grenade launcher, and then I'm going to use my shoot to loot to pick them up. Look at the state of that detonator beam will proc. So basically, via thread of warning, picking up an orb of power grants you woven mail, which you can do with a detonator beam shoot to loot, like so. Recuperation replenishes health each time you pick up an orb, and we've also got better already, your health begins to regenerate when you pick up an orb of power, and we're going to get unraveling orbs every time we pick up an orb. So just by picking up an orb, we're going to get all them things. But the detonator beam, look at that on the bottom left, everything works together. Woven mail, unraveling rounds, health regen, absolutely awesome. So not only does the detonator beam do extra damage, if there's any orbs around that target there, it will just feed into you. So you're going to get all your health regen, your woven mail, your unraveling orbs, your unraveling rounds, and you're also proccing your four tracer and your harsh refraction. It's just an absolutely awesome setup, and it wrecks all these sort of enemies in this GM and other activities. I've got loads of clips to show you of it just absolutely wrecking, but I'm just sort of focusing on the core of the build, if you like. So your whirling maelstrom, again, just lob that and that will do extra damage. Another little thing I like to do personally, it's not really needed, but it's just something I like to do, is add a Finality's Auger turret into there as well. So that will just give you loads of free damage, basically. Pair that with your whirling maelstrom, and you've got loads of free damage going. But like I said, it's just an option. And once you've got your harsh refraction going and your four tracer going at the same time, you're going to get big chunks of super energy, and this trace rifle absolutely disintegrates, like I said earlier on. Things just die so quick. You got your ensnaring slam just to suspend the play as well, and you got your super that can clear rooms, and this can actually kill champions on its own, which we'll show you going on as well. So one of the best supers in the game to add to the cause as well. And it's really easy to do. Like, honestly, you could just throw your melee infinitely anywhere. That's just one way of proccing your four tracer in the harsh refraction. And once you've sort of got your ×4 going and the harsh refraction, it does, look at this, it absolutely demolishes that champion. And just all these little miners and the mages spawning in this little area here, all the arc shields, that paired up with whirling maelstrom. Again, I know I've said it before, but that whirling maelstrom on its own just gives you a 96% damage increase consistently, plus all the damage the unraveling does from the whirling maelstrom. It's a joke. That's what this build is. It's an absolute joke. And you've also got that woven mail going all of the time as well, via detonator beam, or you can even just pick the orbs up. So it's really strong. And once you've sort of got your exhausted targets going on your super elemental charger as well, you've literally got supers for days as well. Like, I didn't really focus on the super gains on this too much, but I was just getting super after super after super, and it's an absolute joke. Really strong super. Another option with the Unsworn, it could actually roll with bait and switch. Now, bait and switch gives you an extra 30% with rewind rounds, is a really good roll, in my opinion. But everything you've seen, all them damage numbers I showed you at the beginning, you're going to get an extra 30% with bait and switch if you've got that roll. So that's a really good roll as well, and it's quite easy to proc bait and switch, especially with Finality's Auger. It's literally free bait and switch. So you're going to get 30% bait and switch plus the four tracer and the harsh refraction all working together. Now that's just an option, and it does actually slap once you've got them going as well. I personally prefer, just for like open play, I personally prefer the detonator beam. I think that gives you a 20% damage increase on the fly without having to do out. Detonator beam, as I've said, it will pick up, but Bait and switch is just another option. Now watch my health here when I dive to the ground. Full health, and I got woven mail going, which we'll go into in a moment. That's powerful attraction as well as detonator beam. I'm also running powerful attraction on my class item, so they will also pick up orbs of power as well, but we'll go into that as I go through my mods. Now, just one last little clip of it just absolutely demolishing all these ads. This trace rifle, it is just crazy. Don't forget a lot of these had arc shields on as well. Really, really strong when you're whirling Maelstrom. So, what we'll do, quickly skim over the aspects again. Whirling Maelstrom, we've been through this one. This makes your tangles unravel. Now, as well as the detonator beam picking up orbs, you can also run ensnaring slam, which is what I do with powerful attraction. That's why that clipped and I got all my health back. So basically, every time you consume your class ability, you're going to dive, you're going to pick up them orbs. That's an option for you. And then shackle grenade, which we've already been through. Again, suspension, and then threaded spike is going to sever. So again, all debuffs. Thread of wisdom, defeating suspended targets creates an orb of power. That's just free woven mail, via the thread of warden. You're going to be always suspending things with this build, so it's like a really good little synergy. Thread of wisdom, thread of warden. And then I also like to run thread of generation. Dealing damage generates grenade energy. Dealing any type of damage, your whirling maelstrom gives you loads of grenade energy. It's a joke. And then thread of continuity. Suspend, unravel, and sever effects have an increased duration. Obviously, we're taking advantage of all of them 3 debuffs, so it makes sense. And I'll quickly just leave my mods like that as well. I'll also leave a dim link in the video description. I will also be putting a Mobilytics link up as well for a sort of guide on that with like a build card and stuff like that. If you prefer Mobilytics over dim links, that's cool. I'll do that for you as well. But that's the video. Let me know what you think. Absolutely awesome build. I love it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.